Good evening, everyone. I'm Rashmi Murli, and I would like to warmly welcome all of you to the 22nd edition of TERI's annual multi-stakeholder event, the World Sustainable Development Summit, WSDS 2023. Since its inception, the summit series has strived to make sustainable development a globally shared goal, and we would like you to be a part of this mission. In this thematic track on breaking the boundaries of holistic development, philanthropic and social initiatives lead the way. We delve on how social initiatives in India, led by philanthropies and corporate social responsibility, have created pathways for ushering development in rural areas and engaging with underserved communities. This interactive session would entail understanding the challenges and opportunities of transitioning social initiatives from niche to integrated approaches to attain greater impacts. With this, I would like to call upon Dr. Amit Kumar Thakur, Head CSR and Associate Director, TERI, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you very much to each one of you for being here today for this thematic session. On the stage, I'm thankful to each of the esteemed panelists who agreed to come today in terms of their time and the contribution that they are going to have for this particular session. So I welcome each one of you, sir, on this event for this thematic session. In fact, the whole idea, in fact, of having this event is that we all understand the importance of philanthropies and also the social aspect, which is a big buzzword nowadays, and now also leading to various forms of sustainable development goals, ESG, and also towards decarbonization. So, in terms of the theories which we have seen long back, in fact, India, in fact, has been practicing from the Vedic time, to give back to the society. And people who had, much more, they always used to, donate in some form or other based on their capacity. We have seen a huge transition in terms of the development of social thought process and also in terms of the philanthropic aspect from the past that we have seen. We have seen writers, in fact, in form of Carol, Johnson, who have contributed so much, Frederick, over a phase of time. And this shows that, the Western thought process, in terms of theoretical development of concepts, in terms of various CSR or philanthropic aspects have evolved over time. Now, coming to the aspect of phase-wise development of social development in India, it's not new to us. It didn't come from the Companies Act 2013 and applied from 2014. But social initiatives, philanthropic activities, and CSR have been happening, much before the new act in place. So if you see the entire landscape of in fact, the whole social, philanthropic, and CSR regime from 2014 till 2000, financial year till now, there has been investment in various thematic areas of 150 crores till now, and though this is a span of over 8-9 years, and this amount is not too high, but again there is something in which we have been able to deliver a lot of solutions on ground. And that encompasses solutions into multiple sectors. That includes environment, that includes renewable energy, development of model village, livelihood programs, education, and a gamut of things that has been done. So when we see the entire landscape, in fact, in terms of what has been done, so 150 crores roughly has been invested over these 9 years. Thematic areas, in fact, are 14. In fact, majorly there are 5 to 6 which takes a fund up to 75 to 80%. In terms of the compliance part, means that how much a company is spending, whether it is meeting that threshold, what it has to spend. So from 2014 onwards, we have seen that 10,000 crore was being spent, and the last financial year, in fact, we have found that 25,000 crore has been spent by all the companies. So there is a good, shift in terms of companies taking it seriously and spending it. Apart from that, in terms of if you see the regions across India, some of the states have got much more, more priorities. If you talk about the 10 states, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Andhra, Delhi, to an extent, West Bengal, they are the priority states. But again, it should shift to other states where there is more need for such solutions. So with this, in fact, at TERI, we have been working very strongly with the gamut of partners, and we highly, respect and appreciate the contribution, in fact, across the country. The type of project that we are doing in Uttar Pradesh with IKEA Foundation, it's a long-term, philanthropic and social program in which we are trying to capture the SME sector, and we developed four clusters, in fact, in Varanasi, in Prayagraj, in Methi, and Muradabad. We're trying to have interventions in which the grid electricity consumption is coming down, and we have solarized all those solutions, like the weavers who make a lot of sarees. So it is highly grid based, and we made it solar. So similarly, in fact, in the lines of the Mooj cluster, or in the toy cluster, or even in the brass cluster of Muradabad, we have this intention of doing it, and we are doing it strongly. So thankful very much to IKEA Foundation that they have been supporting us, and our team, in fact, is committed, and they are progressing extremely well in the project. The second part with our other partners, in fact, Nippon, in fact, we are doing some integrated project in Jharkhand where we have adopted villages. And in those villages, we have given water solution. We have adopted school where midday meal kitchen infrastructure has been created. Drinking water facility has been created. And we've also created a lot of, digital solutions for students. And there is an interaction between community and the schools. And that's how, there is more cohesiveness, in fact, in the entire project. So also with PNB grids, we have been doing from 2 years in a row now. And in fact, in Haryana, we have done a similar kind of integrated project where water solution, the school adoption program, not a lot of training capacity building program has been done. So again, with VNB advisory, they are with TERI for a very long time in terms of, understanding the social fabric of India, and how, the demand which comes from the community, how that can be met in terms of various solutions related to, you talk about the integrated domestic energy system, you talk about various energy and agriculture nexus. So there they play a key role in terms of, addressing several environmental issues and how to mitigate those issues in the long run. So we're very much thankful to VNB advisory that they have been supporting TERI on such projects, and we have been doing a lot of stuff in ground, in fact, in Bihar and in other states. So this is how things are progressing. We recently have taken up a big project with SPMCIL. It's the Government of India PSP organization, and we are trying to adopt. We are going to adopt a village which is based in Madhya Pradesh. It has a household of 1,200 households are there, and around 9,000 people are staying. So we are adopting the entire village in terms of water management, in terms of school adoption, in terms of playground development, lot of training capacity, skilling program. We're trying to create green village, in fact, and we're also trying to create example in our country that how, if the villages are green villages, they are towards low carbon parks, and such examples will help, in fact, not in the village, but those will also stop migration, and in a way, it can become a good example to be replicated across the country. So with this, we have several other partners. Indus Tower is there, NRL is there, PepsiCo is there, and several other partners we are working with. And today, in fact, I'm extremely thankful, in fact, that we have this panel, and you all are with us. So with this, in fact, I will further, take it forward, and now it will be majorly with the panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Thakur, for setting the context. May I request Mr. Sushil Singla, Principal Resident Commissioner, Himachal Bhavan, to deliver the keynote address.
Thank you. This is not kind of address I will be delivering. My panelists and dear colleagues, I'm thankful to TERI and in general, in particular, for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts and views. And I'll be sharing basically whatever had got an opportunity to implement with the companies and spending CSR budget to do some development in rural areas of UP and Himachal. As you know, like Thakur has already said so many things that India has a long tradition of doing charitable things. And we have, in fact, from our childhood days, we are taught to how to serve the society, give back to the society. Prior to 2014, now it is mandatory that every company has to spend 2% of their net profit average for 3 years on CSR activities. Prior to that, it was not institutionalized. Now, the companies are bound to spend that much of money. And earlier it was not institutionalized, it was voluntary and people used to spend. And still people are spending a lot of money out of their pocket. If you see the COVID 2019, people contributed a lot. I was posted in Himachal Bhavan. So at that time, there was complete lockdown and we didn't have the resources. Then we approached the people here itself, the people who are Himachalis and settled in Himachal, in Delhi, and they contributed a lot and they went to any extent to help the stranded people so that nobody goes to bed hungry. And they were roaming around and then medicines, lots of companies came forward to give supply medicines and arrange trucks to ferry the drugs from Delhi to Himachal. And if you recollect, a fund has also been created in Government of India that lots of company had given lots of funds under CSR for this to tackle this menace of COVID 2019. While I was working in agriculture ministry for 5 years. So at that time also, in fact, the CSR fund, the PSUs and the private companies both contribute. But the problem is in the government, when we are in the government, so it is very easy for us to approach the PSUs and they can, they come forward to give money for implementation of various activities. We implemented so many activities under CSR, whatever money was given to us, or rather they implemented the activities like solar lights, open air gym, you might have seen in Delhi. It was a very attractive activity and it doesn't amount much. And you could create with a small amount number of villages and it could create a lot of goodwill. If we talk about CSR, earlier there was a concept that and private companies generally spend money wherever they have a unit, like cement plant or thermal plant, in and around that area. They spend a lot of money to keep the villagers or the whatever they have, whatever damage they have caused to the environment. So they try to recoup. But after this institutionalization of CSR, now everybody has started thinking that at least we should contribute back to the society, to the environment. The society and environment two are important aspects from which each one of us is trying something or the other. 5-6 months back, I had written, like he spoken about, that everybody should pay back to the society when we have reached certain level. Like people retire from government service or the private, they are getting handsome pension, at least 50%. So most of the people, they keep on hankering for some post-retirement jobs or post-retirement benefits. If they start giving back to the society, like they are working for 10 hours or 15 hours a week, at least they will be busy and they will be paying back to the society, and whatever field they are working, they can work in that field and they can contribute a lot for the betterment of society. Basically, all of us are working or have to work for the betterment of the society and the environment. So I think this panel will now deliberate upon what best can be done in the current circumstances, and let's see how these recommendations can be implemented. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the kind words. Now we move on to the campfire talks, where we discuss if philanthropic and social initiatives can be the link between holistic development and sustainability. On the panel, we have Mr. Nikhil Kaushal, India representative, IKEA Foundation, Mr. Sandeep Roy Chaudhary, Director, VNB Advisory, Ms. Pallavi Chauhan, Senior Regional Head, North KCG and EPCG, Nippon Life India, Asset Management Limited, Mr. C. Yogesh, Managing Director, Karnataka State Textile Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited. And on the way is Mr. Gyan Prakash, Deputy General Manager, Security Printing and Minting Corporation of India Limited. So the talk would be facilitated by Dr. Amit Thakur. So over to you.
So I think I'll be here only, so I think, so everyone can, see me in fact. So in fact, to my esteemed panel and to the audience, in fact, the topic, in fact, as mentioned by my colleague Rashmi, can philanthropic and social initiatives be the link between holistic development and sustainability? So it's something which is very close to us. It's now getting closer to the corporates. It's now getting closer to most of the philanthropic ones. It's closer to the government, and we have enough evidence now in India that what is being done, and a lot of data is available, a lot of research is happening, and a lot of PhD scholars are also coming up in this sector. So it speaks about the volume and space that it is occupying right now. So I will start with my esteemed panel, and the esteemed panel. At first, the whole structure would go like this: that you belong to all esteemed organizations, and first of all, so we can have 2 to 3 minutes initially in terms of speaking on the type of programs or projects that your esteemed organization is doing, and you may highlight some of 1 or 2 key initiatives of your organization, so that around this topic or whatever comes to your mind close to this topic. So I'll start first with, in fact, our key partner, in fact, Mr. Nikhil Kaushal, and I'm thankful to him that he has spared time today, and we on the IKEA Foundation part, as I mentioned to you, that how application of renewable energy in the MSME sector can bring a huge change. So that part, in fact, we are doing it in Uttar Pradesh. And my specific question to you would be that in terms of the work that IKEA Foundation is doing, and how this contribution for the MSME sector in terms of giving a solar solution, a renewable solution, can bring the change.
Thank you, Amit, and good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for inviting me. I usually don't get many invites, so I just bounced on to this opportunity once I had a call from Amit. IKEA Foundation is a Dutch foundation, Netherlands-based foundation, and is a philanthropic arm of Inca Foundation, which is the owner of IKEA group of companies. So the stores which you see in India popping up in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Mumbai are owned by the foundation. We are a strategic foundation with a focus on people and planet. We have kind of segregated or structured our work in these 2 streams, focusing on productive use of renewable energy, regenerative agriculture, and green jobs. Green jobs is very, is in very initial phases, where we are looking at how we can work with waste management and create livelihoods opportunities for the many people. On the climate side, all of this actually is also in some ways, in most of the ways, should contribute towards climate action. We have a very big agenda on climate action as well, what we call the planet stream, where we are work with corporates, governments, and and issues like emission reductions and methane emission reduction of methane emissions in a very large scale scenarios. In India, we have been present for about last 12 years and have been operating in almost all the states through our partners like TERI and others. So we have around 18 to 20 partners in India. Being a global foundation, we work also in Africa, Southeast Asia, in countries like Indonesia, in countries like in Africa, in Kenya, Rwanda, Ethiopia, many other countries of Sub-Sahara and primarily East Africa. We have around 160 partners globally, but then we make investments close to 230, 240 million euros every year. So that's what, in a nutshell, IKEA Foundation is about. Like I said, I mean, our strengths are our partners and the institutions like TERI, who are implementing projects in India through us. The SMILE project, which Amit has been talking about, is one of the fantastic examples where we are actually trying to work with MSMEs sector. We are trying to see how we can use solar energy to improve the livelihood opportunities, use solar energy to improve the working conditions of handloom workers, of wooden toy makers, and so on. So it's like a very focused approach. We think that MSME is the key to India's growth, and that's where the focus should be. And in all our work streams, whether it is regenerative agriculture, whether it is productive use of renewable energy appliances or green jobs and the waste management, we always try to work with MSMEs. We think that's where the biggest opportunity is, and that's the way which is going to be in next coming years.
Thank you so much, Nikhil, for your perspective. I'll go to our next esteemed speaker, Mr. C. Yogesh, who is the Managing Director at Karnataka State Textile Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited. So the whole discussion from this IKEA Foundation project went to Karnataka because that's a textile hub. Our team also registered that. We are also always trying to explore new geographies. So in that context, Mr. C. Yogesh has been kind enough to facilitate a lot of things here. And the type of activities and the type of work which is happening there is something very unique, and which we would like to hear from Mr. C. Yogesh. So how do you see the entire, this sector in terms of the textile infrastructure in Karnataka, and how, in terms of going to the green path, in fact, or towards the low carbon,
thank you. So, good afternoon to everyone. I am representing the Karnataka State Textile Infrastructure Development Corporation. It's a government-owned company. We are working for the development of handloom, powerloom, weavers of the state, and as a whole textile industry of Karnataka. Apart from that, we have a department also in the Karnataka, that's Department of Handlooms and Textiles, dealing with many schemes of state and central government schemes. And we, as a corporation, we are mainly having intervention in one is human resource development, that is training and other things. And second one is that is infrastructure development to the weavers and the powerloom sectors and textile sectors and apparel sectors also. And third initiative is we are also assisting in marketing assistance to our registered powerloom units. In terms of we are linking with the state requirements of the lending to the weavers also. That is we are acting as a bridge between manufacturers and buyer. So these are the three major areas we are working in Karnataka. And as the scenario is concerned, I just want to mention how this sector is growing. The clothing is, that is one of the basic needs of human beings, and next to food and shelter also. And textile sector is one of the largest employment provider in the nation. That too, especially government industry, it's a women-oriented employment generation. Nearly 1:2 employment is there. One machine. And also played a role in the independent movement also. In India, there are about 23 lakhs of random 25 lakhs ordinary shuttlooms. Just I wanted to mention that there are three categories mainly in weaving. That's one is handloom, that is both hand woven and hand spun also. And another sector is power operated weaving. That is a ordinary shuttle looms with minimum speed. And third category is high tech and with the intelligence gadgets and all this with a high speed of weaving. And that is a third category of weaving system. And as far as first and second category that Nikhil mentioned that weavers, handloom weavers. Handloom weaving is basically hand spun and hand woven also. That is a very that is a human efforts are required. And next category, that is what I told, is ordinary shuttle loom weaving. They are using with minimum power for weaving purpose. That is that it minimizes in one side, it minimizes the efforts to the human beings and also increases the production activity in weaving sector also. So these two sectors, handloom and another side is power loom sector, both the conditions of the weavers are almost same or a little bit higher compared to handloom weavers. So all we are focusing more with handlooms, but day by day that sector is diminishing. It is a sad thing. Even then, that is a we have to keep the tradition of handlooms, and also we have to intervene in many aspects, especially in production act, to increase the production of the handloom weaving, either in some sort of spinning activity or in pre-loom facility of the weaving or post-loom activity also. We can intervene to increase the production of the handloom weaving and to decrease the strain on the human efforts also to be taken. That is one part. And another part, another set of weaving is that is what I told that power loom weaving. There also they are using minimum power. That is the farm machine. They are using less than 1 HP or so of HP or 0.75 HP up to 1 HP they are utilizing. Their condition also similar to the handloom with a little bit higher economic condition compared to handloom weavers also. This sector is also requires some sort of intervention for their power and livelihood and also welfare schemes also. We in Karnataka, we are intervening in terms of subsidizing the power, supply to the power to these units with very minimal. We are supplying the power at the rate of 1 rupee 25 paisa per unit. This is very low. It's almost like 1/3 they are paying, and remaining 2/3 is paid by the state government. That is how that power is being intervened in Karnataka to these sector. So my request is this is the area where some sort of solar panels or any that is an unconventional techniques can be introduced so that the burden on the government can be reduced to that extent. Annually, we are from the government, the grant is provided about 80 to 85 crores to these power subsidies. So you can imagine the quantum of assistance we are providing to the power loom sector. So this is the one area, that is one is in the handloom sector, we can provide some of the panels or some intervention is needed for lowering the strain on the weaver and increase in the production of the manufacturing varieties. That is one aspect. And the second, in the power loom sector, we require some sort of power subsidy to be reduced so that the clean energy can be provided to these unorganized and decentralized power loom sectors. So this CSR activity can be included. These are some of these power intervention and other aspects can be included in CSR activities. So either to for handloom and power loom sectors, both are very traditional one and requires more and more support from the industry as well as from the CSR activities also. With these, these initiatives we are being taken from the Karnataka state. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, leadership. Thank you for your valuable input. मैं कभी खास व्यक्ति को अपने हमारे बीच में है, उनसे मैं अनुरोध करूंगा श्री कमल सिंह जी हमारे बीच में है, पद्मश्री हैं और जो खेती बाड़ी से जुड़े काम होते हैं उनको खास तौर पे सभी पद से आते हैं और हरियाणा में और देश भर में जाने जाते हैं। तो मैं अनुरोध करूंगा कि आप मंच में आए और मंच में थोड़ी देर बैठें और अपने विचार प्रकट करें। So our esteemed panelist is Sandeep Roy Chaudhary. Sandeep, in fact, has been, you know, the person who has almost committed to bring a change in the society in terms of doing so many programs on ground, and also he sees that wherever there are issues and the vulnerable communities are impacted to various vagaries of you know, climate change in terms of adaptation or mitigation or in terms of receiving solutions or in terms of the larger talk that we are having in terms of how climate financing can be done. So all those action-related programs he leads and he contributes hugely. At TERI also he has been a very you know valuable partner for us for so many years. So so I live in touch you know a discussion in fact or that we like to speak to you in terms of the various work that he has been doing and can reach us with his thoughts.
Thank you, Amit. Very kind words, I must say, but I am just a finance person who figured it out in terms of how, no, I wouldn't say figured it out, trying to figure out on how development finance and mainstream finance can work together. And I think that's really important. I know this session is about philanthropy and how you can fill the gap, but I think you need other financial instruments to fill the gap as well, apart from philanthropy. So I am a big believer. I'm a co-founder of a company called VNV, Value Network Venture. We're basically a climate finance company, which finances direct implementation on the ground, be that on agriculture, be that on social forestry, different kinds of waste management, energy access. That's a lot that we work with TERI as well. Because our theme is that while climate change is happening, whether we like it or not, climate will change. There are people who are significantly affected by this. And this is not going to go away immediately because even if we do what we do towards global warming and climate change, will still take about 20, 30 years to get there. And within that 20, 30 years, you're destroying at least 2 or 3 generations in that meanwhile. So that's our work is more geared towards how we can help them tide this problem and also make the energy leap, like we say, instead of following the model of going from fossil fuel to lesser fossil fuel to clean. The whole idea is to go straight from fossil fuel to clean fuel. So yes, going back to the point of financing, we've been able to finance quite a bit of work with partners, and we work with a cohort of almost 150 partners, TERI being one of them, and one very important one at that. We work in about 20 countries, and we work with at least 2 to 3 million smallholder farmers and across thousands of hectares of land. Our focus, like I said, is to get finance to the most needy. And when we say finance, I just don't mean money, I mean the value. That's what we stand for in terms of value networks as well. When we talk about philanthropy and we talk about convergence, the idea is not, so we are not a big believer in doubling the farmer's income. I would rather double the farmer's value. And that's what I think a lot of work needs to be done around that, where we say that if we're working with smallholders, instead of direct cash benefits, you can bring value to the crop itself and increase the value to the crop. I'll give you an example. You can sell mango at a certain price. You can sell pulp at a 60% more price than mango. If you can help build that pulp processing center, you're helping the farmer a lot more than any direct cash benefit ever, because that's what sustainability is. Sustainability is long-term value that you create. So I think philanthropy needs to also understand that. I think some of the companies, and this I've seen, we're all part of the 2013 CSR Act and probably before that as well, is that we need to plug the gaps. And I think CSR and philanthropy and all other forms of climate finance that I represent are here to fill the gaps. Instead of taking up projects where we are all aiming for 100% funding, that is not going to scale. We need to fill in the gaps in terms of government schemes, other kind of development finance. Everything needs to come together, and that is where you create value. So I think the whole idea of sustainability is not just a word. You need to be sustainable. It's not about a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year program. And even if you're there for 1 3 year program, build value for the next 15 years before you exit. And that's how it should be. And I think different kind of financial instruments, and that's what my expertise is to build that sustainability into picture. You can use different kinds of, we run a climate fund, for example, where we invest into companies. We run a carbon offset fund that basically, again, invest into FPOs, FPGs, et cetera. We run different kinds of debt instruments that can be accessed by people who are working on the front lines of climate. When I say climate, again, it's with the caveat of climate and communities. If you're just working with decarbonization, yes, there is a space for it, but that's not the space we represent or what I'm talking about. I'm talking about adaptation financed via mitigation. That's the idea I think we work with. And we can actually converge with a lot of different kinds of financial instruments, including CSR. We work with over 200 companies globally on their net zero goals, climate targets, climate goals, et cetera, et cetera. So the idea here that I want to bring out is that, and the discussion is, can philanthropic and social initiatives be in the link for holistic development? I think it can, but it needs to be really, really well understood about the financing mechanism that is needed for that holistic development. Not just straight up go and say, I'm going to give you a grant and that's about it. What is the grant being used for? What gap is it plugging? Is gap finance, I mean, actually, we have something called viability gap financing. I think that is a very important concept for any development worker. I think that's where a lot of focus needs to be there for scale. I mean, you can still do a little bit of piecemeal here and there, have your photo up, but that's not going to make a difference, actually. We need to really look at scale. And I think scale can be achieved by really understanding the financial needs of a particular program to scale and not just be localized where they are. And also, I think within philanthropy, I think there is a bit of lack in understanding R&D and stuff like that, which is, I think, for organizations like TERI, et cetera. I think this is really important because social innovation comes from technology innovation as well. I don't think we are putting enough money, thought, value into that. And that is somewhere, I think, again, where philanthropy and CSR can really help because we are here to fill that gap of that value. And I think technology companies, et cetera, can provide a lot of value on the development sector, especially on the CSR field, by creating different kinds of monitoring evaluation systems, be it cash transfer systems, payment systems, deployment systems, and so on and so forth. So I think those are the value that we really need to go after. So I'm not a big believer in counting the money. 16,000 crores is what they throw about. I don't know where that money is going, or, well, that's a wrong statement to make. I know where that money is going. But how much value is it creating is the big question. And that's what we should be concentrating on and really spending our nights and days on. So I would stop there. Thank you.
You very clearly mentioned, and in terms of the having this arrangement in terms of the PPP model or having more stakeholders coming in. So we have very good provision in the SDGs which is spelled out, and I think this could be the way ahead. And at TERI we are doing such programs projects where VGF or partnership model or co-funding model is already there. We intend to further improve the technology. Thank you for your insight. We move to our next esteemed speaker, Ms. Pallavi Chauhan from Nippon. Nippon has been into, mutual funds, steel, and many other sectors. So, what I'd like to hear from Pallavi is that how, as a organization, Nippon, what are the areas where Nippon is working, and how do they see this topic linking to their mission or vision for the organization?
Thank you, Amitji. It's been a pleasure to be here, and I think I'll make a small attempt to address how Nippon is making a small impact to this entire cause, and happy to be part of such an eminent panel here. Just to give you a little background in terms of what we do as an organization. So Nippon India Life Asset Management is in a very laymannish term, is a mutual fund organization. Mutual funds in India, are not new. I'm sure, a lot of you hold that in your portfolios as well. We are part of a global conglomerate called Nippon Life Insurance, which is almost a 130-year-old company based out of Japan, and seen two world wars, among the top 500 in terms of Fortune 500 companies, and associated with a lot of these philanthropic activities, worldwide. So I think taking a lot of cue from their experience, we're established in India for the last 28 years. And I think, as somebody just mentioned, during the discussion, that 2014 onwards is when, as part of your net profits for the last 3 years average, as part of CSR initiatives, you make that 2% contribution of your PAT. And just to give you a background to this, why, it becomes so important to have a participation in such kind of initiatives is the fact that mutual fund industry is evolving at a very, very fast pace. We are like a 40 lakh crore industry as we talk, and we are among the top 4-5 players in the country today, a listed company. And as part of social responsibility, as part of CSR initiatives, once the growing kitty, the financial assets of all the people sitting in this room today, for example, move from hard assets to financial assets, the PAT for organizations like us will continue to keep increasing. And obviously, India being a very less penetrated country in terms of financial savings, or financial assets, you can say, into mainstream business like mutual fund, I think this kitty will only keep growing up. We manage close to about 1 crore investor base, unique investors. We manage about 3 lakh crores of asset today, manage few government mandates, and very happy to share that, top 100 companies among the top listed companies are our investors amongst the so many retail investments that we manage. And, I think what's really played out very well in the last couple of years, especially during COVID, a lot of digitalization which happened has got more and more people into the financial services fold. And our association with TERI has been very recent. So, we as a company in last 8 years, we work around 6 themes, which are now broadly into healthcare, into sports, which is a very large, initiative that we do, into incubation of fintech space, into social causes, army being one of the forefronts, that we support as a very large cause. So war widows, veterans, people who go on the front, and we've been associated with some of these causes. Climate is something that we inculcated very recently, just about a year back. And I think that's also part of the philosophy of how NLI, which is Nippon Life Insurance, runs globally, because they're very large on the ESG front, which is the environment, social governance aspect, And this is something I think the Indian companies are warming up to. Still far from it, but I think a long way to go and very, very sustainable in the long-term future. We try to implement that, of course, to get associated with some of these causes on ground. But at the same time, within our own setup, amongst employees, amongst operations and business, we try and inculcate some of these ESG factors as well. There are also initiatives that we are looking to build a fund, which is catering to these three factors, as an investment process as well. So I think all of these things culminate from the simple fact that, how serious you are, taking, it's not just a monetary participation that you want to do, but it's also an impact that you want to make on society. So sustainability, I completely agree with you, Sandeep, that it is more value based. It is not just about, bringing money on the table and, just being part of something and, be there. I think so. What we do, we have one of the big four, who are, and one of the ex-representatives is sitting here as well in the audience, I guess. So, one of these big four get ideas to our board. These are run through with various board members. And, once what we are convinced on as an initiative, be it healthcare, be it sports, so we are associated with something called as OGQ, which is Olympic Gold Quest, which for last many, many years have produced international level sports person. And not just identifying from tribal areas, but also to the fact that, their nutrition, their diet, their basic medical facilities are taken care of. So that tomorrow, you're able, with such a large pool of 140 crore plus, you're able to develop international quality, sports people as well. So that's one very big initiative that we've been associated with the last many, many years. Climate, of course, with TERI, I think we are associated in Jharkhand in, in their pond rejuvenation aspect, and also 2 schools that, we're looking at in last 2 years, which are basically, you can say, their sanitization, toilets for both boys and girls, it's more integrated, it's more digitalized. And some of these aspects which we feel maybe in the grassroots of the country, So we're agnostic to location per se, but I think wherever we see opportunities that as a partner, we can make some difference. And it just not rests at that. There are, these impact assessments which happen on quarterly basis. There are reports that we run through, with organizations such as TERI, comes back in terms of what is the development which is happening. So there are 1 or 2 initiatives that possibly we have moved out of also. A couple of large initiatives that we run and partner with are, Tata Memorial. So mostly on their cancer bit, right from, you can say, getting those sophisticated machines, which are available free of cost in terms of, to the end user. And also for the fact, something like TIS, which is Tata Institute of Social Sciences, which are more oriented on education and more oriented on, you can say long-term sustainability of, say, women for that matter, or children for that matter. We're associated with something called as Ashoka University, which is purely running philanthropic initiatives, where they try and pick up meritorious students and, who can get higher education at a good platform. So I think these are some of these initiatives, I think the corporate world is warming up to. I think it's very, very important because global, warming, climate sustainability, some of these carbon credits that all of us hear about, I think these are very, very important aspects which touch all our lives. And maybe, 2050 is a very different story. It's, the global AQI level, or you can say the AQI level in Delhi for that matter, is almost, one of the least sustainable cities in the world are Bombay and Delhi as well. So I think little differences that we can make, as they say, charity begins at home, our own lives. I mean, to basic use of, no plastic, use of bamboo, use of organic stuff. I think a little, so I took the metro today. So just to share with you, so that I can at least make some difference heading into a conference, something like this. But I'm just saying that all these aspects make a lot of difference to the, to the population, in large. And I think what you do at home, maybe your, youngsters follow too. So, today, if you have kids at home, I think this is something that possibly develop and inculcate as a habit as well. So we'll be very happy to, keep looking at these initiatives. And I think as a platform where, we are into digital and financial services, which are becoming mainstream investment lines for a lot of investors, I think these are streams of business which will keep growing as the economy grows. And I think these little initiatives of 2%, only make a very small difference to all of these things. But I think if you accumulate the larger presence of so many corporates or so many such bodies, I think they amount and tantamount to a large differentiator, from a. So I think, this is what we do. I think just to share with you some numbers, I think globally, mutual funds and exchange traded funds, they have moved on to ESG platform. It's now a $2.7 trillion setup, so that's a very, very large number. India, of course, is just started, because you've always had financial assets more into real estate and gold. They are slowly and steadily now moving into, mainstream financial assets. And I think long way to go. And thankfully, we are a very savings kind of an economy. So we've always been inculcated to save, rather than a spending economy. So I think from that aspect, as long as these financial savings, so to say 40-50% of what we save, that's your domestic household saving, keeps coming into mainstream financial assets, I think this kitty will only keep growing. So 2014, our industry was about a 9 lakh crore industry. 8 years down the line, we're almost a 40 lakh crore industry and growing. So I think there's chance for everybody, once these assets become mainstream, your own disposable incomes, your savings, and your tax attributes, a lot of that can get diverted into some initiatives like these. So, happy to be here, and we are very, very, happy to be, associated with TERI for last 1 year and continuing to do so as well, going ahead as well. So thank you, Amit.
So thank you, Pallavi. In fact, initially I thought that we discussed that some of the insights will come, but there's so much of insights from you in such a short duration. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we highly appreciate and acknowledge the partnership with India. Some statistics quickly, in fact, in terms of the amount in the financial year, in fact, 2021, which is reported by the government of India, is around all the companies, because two types of companies are generally qualifying for the spend. One is the public sector organization, and second are the corporates. And in that, in fact, close to 25,000 crore has been spent, but that amount is not big. In fact, it's very minuscule, I would say, seeing that in the education budget or the health budget is over 1 lakh crore in India. So, and also the number of companies which qualify are much more than 25,000. But again, what is more crucial is that the value and the type of projects and programs, and which has a capability of creating innovation. That should be the focus, in fact, majorly of such CSR leading to sustainability and maybe to the SDGs. And also in terms of the listed and unlisted company, 60% in fact are the listed companies who are spending, and 40% are the unlisted companies. When we go to this public sector and private sector, so public sector numbers are less, so therefore in fact their contribution is 20% to the overall spend, and balance 80% in fact comes from the private sector. So these are some of these statistics which I thought I should share with you. So I move to the next esteemed panelist from SPLCIL. It's a government public sector organization from parent organization is Ministry of Finance. So we have with us Mr. Gyan Prakashji, who is in SPLCIL, and I would like to hear from him regarding SPLCIL and various initiatives that we are taking. Dr. Amit.
Thank you, Amit. Namaskar to all the delegates here, speakers, and all the audience. As our association started with TERIs recently, first I will tell you about little bit about our corporation, which is established in 2006. Security Printing and Minting Corporation of India Limited is basically a company which is under the Ministry of Finance, Department of Currency and Coinage. We are in the field of manufacturing security products, currency, coins for Government of India, and our units are basically the pan-India. I can say that we have the 4 mints which manufacture the coins as well as the commemorative coins and refining of the golds. Basically, these are situated in Madhya Pradesh, Calcutta, Hyderabad, and Noida itself. We have currency presses also, which is in Devas, Madhya Pradesh, where we are working with the TERI. And we have a security paper mill which manufacture the printing papers for the security currency notes. As far as the CSR and sustainability development, I can say that CSR is basically with the motive that whatever the projects or program we are doing should go to those persons who are marginally utilized, marginal people who are unprivileged background. So on the basis of that, we had taken up project with TERI. We have many of the projects which is going with the other units of our, which is situated in Pan India on basis of health, skill development, preventive health and nutrition. So right now we are doing these all these projects with the TERI as well as many of the government organization as well as some of the private sector also. I can say that when we talk about the climate change and sustainability, these all our aspects are the people driven as well as the organization driven. We should think about the possibilities where we can reduce the climatically enhancing carbon pollutions or such type of pollutions which we can reduce. Human intervention is as much as required. Since we had started with the TERI in Sirula district of Madhya Pradesh with the integrated development program, in which we are working on a preparation of pond, skill development for women, some nursing aspects. So these are the things on which we are working. Since it's our little association, I mean, a small association started with the TERI, we think that this association goes longer and we can work on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your insights. So now, in fact, मैं अनुरोध करूंगा कमल सिंह जी से, पद्मश्री, जो कि खेती बाड़ी के काम से हरियाणा में खासकर सोनीपत में जाने जाते हैं, कि वो अपना हमारे बीच अपना दो शब्द
आदरणीय मेरे साथी मंच आसन सम्मानित मंच और बहनों और भाइयों, मैं किसान हूँ, किसान की भाषा में बात करूंगा। मुझे ज्यादा पता नहीं है कि विषय क्या है, ज्यादा मैं समझने की कोशिश करी पर मैं ज्यादा समझ नहीं पाया। जैसा मैं समझ पाया हूँ वैसे मैं बात करूंगा। तो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट इन एग्रीकल्चर, खेती में टिकाऊ खेती कैसे हो। 50 वर्ष पहले हम जाते हैं तो हमारे देश में की जो खेती होती थी वो रसायन पर आधारित नहीं थी। कोई कीड़ा यदि लगता था तो पेस्ट मैनेजमेंट से वो मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम होता था, दूसरा कीड़ा पैदा हो जाता था, मित्र कीट बोलते हैं इसको, खा लेता था, वो हो जाता है। उस समय क्या हमारी जो खेती थी वो ऐसा था कि उसमें कोई अंश नहीं था कि वो सेहत खराब कर सके। समय आया, पता चला कि बहुत ज्यादा अनाज चाहिए, बहुत ज्यादा डेवलपमेंट चाहिए, तो हमारे वैज्ञानिकों ने योगदान दिया, अच्छी वैरायटी आई, रसायन का अत्यधिक प्रयोग हुआ। 1980 के दशक में चलते चलते 90 के पास हम ऐसी उसमें पहुंच गए कि जो हम खा रहे हैं उससे बीमारियां बहुत ज्यादा लोगों में आने लगी। तो उसमें आज के जो वैज्ञानिक है, मैं आईसीआर की गवर्निंग बॉडी का मेंबर हूं, मैं उसी मीटिंग से अभी आया हूं। तो हाँ, सब जगह आईसीआर में भी यही चर्चा चलती है कि जो हमने 50 वर्ष में किया है वो हम कुछ गलत रास्ते पे चले गए हैं, ऐसा महसूस हो रहा है। उस रास्ते को ठीक कैसे किया जाए और आप में जितने अपने कंपनियों का उसमें क्या योगदान हो, हमारे समाज का उसमें क्या योगदान हो, इस विषय में बात करेंगे। तो आज एक सिस्टम अपने हमारे प्रधानमंत्री भी कह रहे हैं नेचुरल फार्मिंग हो, क्योंकि हमारी जमीन खराब हो रही है, मित्र कीट खत्म हो गए हैं, जो केचुआ हमारी जमीन को सुधारता था वो खत्म हो गया है। तो और जो उत्पादन कर रहे हैं वो उत्पादन स्वास्थ्यवर्धक नहीं है। तो ऐसी अवस्था में खेती करना, ना किसान को कुछ बच रहा है, ना खाने वालों को फायदा हो रहा है, ऐसी खेती का कोई ज्यादा फायदा नहीं है। अब हमारी जिम्मेदारी क्या बनती है? हमारी जिम्मेदारी बनती है हमारे प्रधानमंत्री के नेचुरल फार्मिंग। बहुत से लोग कह रहे हैं नेचुरल फार्मिंग, तो नेचुरल फार्मिंग की तरफ हमें जाना होगा। और नेचुरल फार्मिंग के लिए हम जितने कंपनियां हैं बड़ी या सीएसआर फंड देती है, उसमें नेचुरल फार्मिंग की रिसर्च के लिए वैसे तो बहुत सारी यूनिवर्सिटियां रिसर्च कर रही है। आज भी मैंने डीजी से यही पर्सन आया, उन्होंने कहा जी हमने अपना रिसर्च की दिशा बदल दी है और रिसर्च की दिशा में हम प्राकृतिक खेती पर रिसर्च कर रहे हैं। ये ऐसा बोर्ड हमने आईसीआर के अनुसंधान में दे दिया। तो मैंने डीजी साहब से यही प्रश्न किया कि अगले 1 वर्ष में क्या हम आपसे पूछ सकते हैं कि हमने इस फील्ड में क्या काम किया, आगे कहाँ तक हम चले हैं, कोई स्टेप हमने लिया या नहीं लिया। तो इस अवस्था में हमारा भी ये फर्ज बनता है कि हम कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा करके दिखाएं कि किसी भी गांव में 50 एकड़ या 60 एकड़ जमीन का एक क्लस्टर ले लिया और किसानों से जुड़ लिए और उसको एक जैविक खेती की वहां इसकी मतलब प्राकृतिक खेती की शुरुआत करें। हम ये नहीं चाहते कि प्राकृतिक खेती करके ना नेचुरल या ऑर्गेनिक खेती करके अलग से कुछ उसका बेनिफिट मिले किसान को। पूरे देश में ही ऐसी खेती होनी चाहिए जो स्वास्थ्यवर्धक हो, जिसके खाने से किसी को नुकसान ना हो। ऐसा मैं मेरा मानना है पूरे देश में ऐसी खेती हो। और इसकी तरफ हम कब जा सकते हैं? ऐसा नहीं है कि खेती में रसायन डालना जरूरी है। हमने कुछ बीज ऐसे डेवलप कर लिए जो ज्यादा रसायन मांगते हैं, ज्यादा पानी मांगते हैं। हमारे पास देसी बीज थे जो कम रसायन में, कम पानी में हो जाते थे। उनको दोबारा से हमें ढूंढने की जरूरत है। तो ऐसा काम करने की हमें जरूरत है। हम कुछ एक क्लस्टर बनाए और ऐसा काम की शुरुआत करें। दूसरा, एफपीओ का नया कॉन्सेप्ट चला है। एफपीओ के माध्यम से भी हम इस बीच में कहीं जा सकते हैं और एफपीओ की सीएसआर में मदद कर सकती है कंपनियां। तीसरा, मैं एक आप बीती थोड़ा सा बताऊं, मैं अभी जो मैं फेस कर रहा हूँ अपने सामने। जब कोरोना लगा, हमारी छोटी छोटी यूनिट है, पहले हम छोटे से किसान थे, बेबी कॉर्न की खेती शुरू की, उससे देश में नाम हो गया, एक्सपोर्ट करने लगे। तो हमने एक छोटी सी यूनिट लगाई। हालांकि एक किसान कोई यूनिट लगाना चाहे तो देश में ऐसी व्यवस्था कि लाल डोरे के बाहर बिजली कनेक्शन नहीं मिलेगा, बहुत सी रिस्ट्रिक्शन थी। कुछ कुछ अभी जैसे डेवलपमेंट होता जा रहा है, नियम कानून बदलते जा रहे हैं, कुछ सुविधाएं हुई है, परंतु एक सुविधा बिल्कुल नहीं हो रही। बैंकिंग प्रणाली में वैसे तो बहुत सुधार हो गए हैं, पर एक सुधार नहीं हो रहा। यदि किसी एफपीओ को, हमारी फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर कंपनी है जो किसानों के बीच में काम करती थी, जब कोरोना हुआ था तो टमाटर पैदा हुआ, बेबी कॉर्न पैदा हुआ, उसको प्रोसेस करना था, क्योंकि मंडियां तो सब जब बंद हो गई थी, आना जाना बंद हो गया। तो एक प्रोसेस इंडस्ट्री किसान का सहारा था जिसमें तो उसमें क्या था कि जब जो डिब्बा जो मटेरियल यूज होता था उस टाइम पे तो उधार भी मिलता था कोरोना से पहले। तो कोरोना के बाद में उधार लेना बंद कर दिया और पैसा किसी के पास, एफपीओ के पास था नहीं। तो हमने एक बैंक के चेयरमैन से, पहले तो मैं फोन नहीं उठाया, फिर मैसेज लिखा, भाई मैं पद्मश्री अवार्डी किसान बोल रहा हूँ, भारत सरकार में ये पद पे हूँ, आप मुझसे बात कीजिए। मैंने चेयरमैन से बात करी, सब हरियाणा ग्रामीण बैंक के। मैंने उनसे पूछा कि हमें 50 लाख रुपया चाहिए सिर्फ, पर गारंटी आप 10 गुनी ले लो एफपीओ की तरफ से। सरकार, हालांकि नियम भी है, देश का कानून है कि 2 करोड़ तक आप गारंटी नहीं ले सकते, पर हमें 50 लाख रुपए इसलिए दे दो ताकि हम किसान का जो उनका नुकसान ना हो, उनकी जो वो क्रॉप है उसको प्रोसेस कर सके। 3-4 दिन में लगे रहे, बैंकों प्रणाली में सारा कुछ रिजल्ट जीरो निकला। तो मैं तो ये सोचता था कि क्या अपने देश में ऐसी व्यवस्था है कि इमरजेंसी में किसी एफपीओ को, फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर कंपनी को या किसी कंपनी को जरूरत पड़ जाए फंड की, तो पूरी गारंटी पे मिल जाए, तो अवेलेबल हो सकता है, तो नहीं मिल पाया। दूसरा, मैं उदाहरण दूंगा, अभी एक एफपीओ हमने बनाया, उसमें 6 करोड़ का प्रोजेक्ट लगाया, एसबीआई से जो 10% फाइनेंस करवाया। उसमें सीसी लिमिट चाहिए थी। अभी अभी आज की स्थिति में क्या है कि बेबी कॉर्न बहुत सारा किसानों का आ रहा है और हम उसको सारे को झेलते हैं। हमने मिनिमम गारंटी प्राइस किसानों को दिया हुआ है कि आपका मंडी बिक रहा है महंगा बेच लो, तो मिनिमम गारंटी प्राइस, ताकि आपसे स्थायी रहे, किसान मरे ना और उसकी फसल चलती रहे, तो मिनिमम गारंटी प्राइस हमने दिया। तो उस समय वही समस्या फिर आई एफपीओ के लिए फंडिंग की, कोई कहीं से सीसी लिमिट बन जाए। तो पता नहीं बैंकों के नियम और कानून कैसे बने हुए हैं, उनमें कब बदलाव होंगे, ये हमारी समझ में नहीं आया। उन्होंने 3-4 अफसर लगे रहे, उन्होंने आखिर में ये कह दिया कि आपने जो 6 करोड़ का प्रोजेक्ट लगाया उसमें 60 लाख बैंक से लिए, जो प्रोजेक्ट अभी चालू भी नहीं हुआ अच्छी तरह से, उसमें आपने बैंक की किस्तें दे तो दी सारी, पर वो टाइम पे नहीं दी, 10-10, 15-15 दिन लेट कर रखी है। मैं उनसे कह रहा हूँ, जो बच्चा पैदा ही नहीं हुआ है, 18 साल का हुआ नहीं है, उसने कमाना शुरू नहीं करा है, तो किस्तें कहाँ से, फिर भी दे रहे हैं कहीं से ला के, कैसे भी कमा के। मान लिया एफपीओ का अभी काम शुरू ही नहीं हुआ, तो अब किस्त तो दे रहे हैं ना, दे दिया, तो फिर भी एचडीएफसी बैंक या दूसरे बैंक सब में कोशिश करी गई, तो वो मतलब कुछ भी वो लिमिट, सीसी लिमिट भी नहीं दे सकते, गारंटी भी वैसे नहीं, बिना गारंटी। 2 करोड़ की हमने 1.5 करोड़ की लिमिट मांगी, 2 करोड़ सरकार फ्री देती है, मतलब गारंटी सरकार देती है, और हम भी अपना देने के लिए तैयार है, फिर भी नहीं हुआ। तो ऐसी व्यवस्था मैं चाहूंगा कि अपनी कुछ कंपनियां ऐसा आए, कोई एफपीओ को हेल्प करे, ऐसी जगह कोई ऐसी पॉलिसी बने जिसमें एफपीओ को, किसानों के जो फार्म प्रोड्यूसर कंपनीज है उनको हेल्प मिल सके। ऐसे ही रिसर्च में हेल्प मिल सके। कोई किसान है, प्राकृतिक खेती कर रहा है, उसको कुछ रिसर्च करना चाह रहा है, तो उसमें एक जैसे स्टार्टअप योजना है या कोई योजना में उनको हेल्प मिले। इतना ही कहना चाहूंगा। धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कमल सिंह जी, आप आए यहाँ पर अपने विचार हमारे समक्ष रखा, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। So I'm extremely thankful to our esteemed panel. With this, there are good takeaways. In fact, we are within the boundaries, but I do believe that. But again, how? So when you do the work in such a fashion that you have done the work properly, you see, then you go beyond the boundaries. So understanding within the boundaries is very crucial. So the topic says that once you've understood the boundary, then beyond that, we can always, go beyond the boundaries. So CSR or philanthropic or social aspect or climate change, we need to understand, its fundamentals well. We at TERI, we are also in the learning process, but we have also graduated since time gone, and there is enough to be done. How the social initiatives can, be connected in a manner with climate action in terms of renewable solutions, with the net zero, with the ESG, with the sustainable development goals. So that type of ecosystem or framework needs to be developed. So with this, I thank our esteemed panel that they spared time from the busy schedule and enlightened us in terms of many ways. And if you see the range of organizations they belong to, it's very diverse. And the thought process also which has come to us, in fact, is very diverse and novel. So thank you very much. And then now I hand over to my colleague Rashmi to take it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Thakur, and our esteemed panelists for such an engaging conversation. I would request Dr. Thakur to hand over a token of our appreciation to all our panelists. Mr. Sandeep Roy Chaudhary. Shri Kaval Singh. Mr. C. Yogesh. Ms. Pallavi Chauhan. Mr. Gyan Prakash. Unfortunately, in the interest of time, I will not be able to open the floor to the audience for questions to our panelists, but you're always free to engage with them at high tea, which we have like after this event. I would request Dr. Mini, Senior Fellow TERI, to conclude the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashmi. As they say, all good things come to an end. So does our event too. And I thank Dr. Amit Thakur also for summarizing this interesting session. And our speakers today deliberated on how social initiatives in India have been led by philanthropies and also CSR over the years, which have created pathways for development in rural areas by engaging with vulnerable and marginalized communities, along with support of different stakeholders like the government and the civil society organization. And today's panel is actually representative of different kind of support for social, economic, environment, and developmental initiatives, covering a vast spectrum of themes, whether it could be renewable energy for micro enterprises, climate change, or integrated rural development, focusing on health, education, sports, and natural resource management. And if I was just looking up, the kind of the data, and philanthropic funding in India is estimated to grow at approximately 12% annually in the next 5 years. And our panelists also raised some of the, pertinent and important issues of, tapping into other financial instruments and mechanisms to complement and supplement the philanthropic funding.
So it becomes very important in such a scenario to synergize the strength of different stakeholders to achieve sustainability. With this, I would like to thank all the panelists, the participants, my colleagues, and also special thanks to my director, Dr. Amit Kumar Thakur, who has been spearheading social transformation activities across different geographies in India. And I would like to place sincere thanks to our partners, IKEA Foundation, PNB Guilds, Container Corporation of India, Coal India Limited, Nippon Life India, Security Printing and Minting Corporation of India, and BNB Advisory. I would now request all of you to join us for tea, and also request all of you to kindly take a look at our stall, which is in the Habitat Hub area. The stall is called Smile, and it's been supported by the IKEA Foundation, where we have showcased some of the products. Thank you all.